In this video, we'll be solving another problem from LeetCode. The problem is called Market Analysis 1 and it is a medium problem. So we are given three tables, users table, and in that we have user ID, join date and favorite brand. And this table has the info of the users of an online shopping website where users can sell and buy items. And this is the orders table. And in that we have order ID, order date, item ID, buyer ID, seller ID. And order ID is the primary key and item ID is the foreign key to the items table, and buyer ID, seller ID are foreign keys to the users table. And then we have items table. In that we have item ID, item brand. So we have to write a solution to find for each user the join date and the number of orders they made as a buyer in 2019. Return the result table in any order. So let's take a look at the example. So we are given a users table. In that we have user ID, joining date and favorite brand. Then again in the orders table we have order ID, order date, item ID, buyer ID, seller ID. Items table, and the output is we have buyer ID, the joining date, and the orders he placed in 2019. So if we look at user ID 1, he made 2 orders. As you can see, there are 2 entries as buyers for user ID 1. But one of the order was made in 2018. So the number of orders that he has placed in 2019 is 1. As you can see, we are getting 1 in the output. For user ID 2, as you can see, again we have 2 records. One transaction was done in 2019 and again another transaction was done on 2019. So that's why we have 2 in the orders in 2019 column for buyer ID 2. Then for 3, again there is a single order, but this was done on 2018, and that's why the count is coming out to be 0. And for user ID 4, there is one order for the year 2018, and hence it is also coming out to be 0 in the orders in 2019 column for buyer ID 4. So we won't need items table for the solution. We'll be using the users table and orders table. So let's try to solve this. So let's do a select. We'll select the columns later. So we'll do select from users. Let's call it U. And we will do a left join. Why we are doing that? Because the question says we have to write the solution for each user. And all the users are present in the master table for the users. So we'll do a orders O, and we will do the join on U dot user ID is equal to O dot order ID, O dot buyer ID, sorry. And let's suppose we'll select U dot user ID because this is what we want, and we will call it as buyer ID because in the output table we want this column to be buyer ID. And we also need joining date, so we'll do U dot join date, and third column we will pick, let's pick order ID. Now let's run this. Now this is our output, as you can see here. Let's pick one more column. Let's pick order date. So as you can see in the order date, we are also getting 2018, but we don't want these records. We don't want to count them, right? So what we will do is, first of all, I'll show you. Let's suppose we do where we apply a where condition, where year O dot order date is equal to 2019. Let's run this. So as you can see, in the output, we are not getting 3 and 4, right? But why we are not getting that? Because those orders belong to ordered under in 2018. So what we will do is, but in the output, as you can see, this is the expected output. For 3, there are 0 orders. And for buyer ID 4, there were 0 orders in 2019. So what we will do is, instead of putting it here, because it is filtering out the records, we will pick this condition here in the join condition, and year O dot order date is equal to 2019. Now let's run this. So now as you can see here, for 3 and 4, this condition failed, right? Because year is 2018, and that's why they are coming out to be null. The order ID is coming out to be null, and for 4 as well, the order ID is coming out to be null. That means this condition was satisfied, but when we added another condition of year, that is, the order date has to be of the year 2019. So the condition did not match, but since we are doing left join, we got these outputs as null. I hope you guys understood. Now what we will do is, we'll remove this order date here, and now if we take the count, let's suppose if we take the count of this distinct count, so the distinct count for this, for one buyer ID, will come out to be 1. If we do a group by one buyer ID and join date, the distinct count for this will come out to be 2, and for 3 and 4 it will come out to be 0 and 0. So this is not getting counted. Nulls are not counted. So let's do a count distinct O dot order ID as orders in 2019, and also we'll do a group by on user ID and join date. Let's run this. And it is accepted. So let me just walk you through the solution again. So first of all, that you have to keep in mind is, the first thing that you have to keep in mind is left join. Why we are doing users left join orders? Because it is saying we have to write a solution to find for each user. If we do an inner join, let's suppose, so this will find out only the matching records. So let's suppose there is user ID 5, and let's suppose 5 is not present in the buyer ID. So what will be the output if we do an inner join? So 5 will not come in the output, right? If we do an inner join. So this is the master table for users, and we have to find the result for each user. So that's why we are doing a left join. So this is the first thing to understand. Now, initially we were putting it like where condition here, but using this where condition, we are filtering out the records, right? So that's why we applied the condition in the join condition only. We applied this condition, the year condition, in the join condition. So now we are joining these two tables on these two conditions. That is, the join will happen only if the user ID is equal to buyer ID and the order date, the year of order date, has to be 2019. If these two conditions are not satisfied, then we will get null in the other two columns from the orders table. So let me show it to you again. Let me remove this. Let me run this. So as you can see here, we are getting nulls. Why we are getting nulls in order ID? Because this condition is not being satisfied. Let's take a look at this record 3. So we are doing a join on user ID and buyer ID. So 3 is present here and 3 is present here as well in buyer ID column here. Okay, so that means order ID should come out to be 5 here, but it is coming as null because there is another condition year. That year of the order date column, so what is the year? Is 2018, but this has to be 2019. So this condition is not satisfied, and that's why we are getting null. And similarly for this. And the third thing that we did is we did a group by on buyer ID and join date, and we took the distinct count of order ID, and the answer came out to be this. For buyer ID 1, it was coming out to be 1. For buyer ID 2, since we have 2 records and distinct is, if we take the distinct, the answer will come out to be 2. And for 3 and 4, it is coming out to be 0. So I hope you guys understood, but still, if you have any doubts or if you have a better solution, please post them in the comment section and I will try to resolve the queries. Thank you.